So we're here today in the Bible school in Buenos Aires that Rocky and Sherry Graham's been running now for, 20 plus years. This is one of the places that we are going to be working with their production studio, trying to get a program going here to train Argentine nationals in media ministry and then get them back in their churches in media ministry and then going out as media missionaries. But it's really cool today because we're here with Pastor Terry Kirschman from Canton. Bethel Temple is one of our supporting churches, but also they're friends with the Grahams, have been for years. But on top of that, they're also our supporters. And it was really neat because a couple years ago when we first started itinerating, I went to a sectional meeting where I didn't really know anybody. We had just started itinerating. We were still even questioning or looking for God's confirmation really in our calling here. And I walked in this meeting, the last seat in the whole place was sitting next to Terry, and I looked at him. I could tell he wasn't from Ohio. But I sat down next to him, and they gave us a couple minutes to share. I got up, just said who we were, where we were going, what we were going to do. And as soon as I sat back down, Terry goes, "Hey, guess where I was 2 weeks ago?" I said, "I don't know. I didn't even know who you were." So I don't know. Where were you? He said, "I was preaching in Rocky's Bible school." And I'll let him share the story, but for me it was just a neat confirmation.
Yeah, really, it was beyond coincidence. It was a God thing. We had just been here two years ago this time, and was preaching and ministering. We were doing some building on one of the churches here in Buenos Aires, and they had asked me to do an interview. Students here had asked me to do an interview for a publication that they were writing. And they asked me the specific question about the church of the future, and they honed in specifically on media and communication, and talked about video and that kind of thing. And I said, well, absolutely, that is got to be developed for the church, because the name of the game of the gospel is communication. And that's what communication is all about today. And we had an interesting conversation about that and about the Bible College's opportunity to provide in their strategy for the future ministry, to provide that kind of training and education for media. And then, of course, then 2 weeks later, I'm home and talk to you and find out that that's what God's calling you into. Yeah, it was more than coincidence. It was a God appointment.
Yeah, and Terry and the church there in Canton are one of the churches that really just, invited us to come to a service, took us on for support, took care of us while we were there, loved on the kids, really connected with us. And for me, it was just so encouraging. He was saying when he was speaking that he opened it up for questions, and the first question was a kid on the front row. He said, "Pastor Terry, how important is media in the church today and in ministry, and how can we get more training in that area?"
Yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. I think young people understand what it's going to take to reach their generation. I think young people understand the challenges that they face without that kind of training or without those kinds of tools. And I think they're really asking for it. They're crying for it. And it's our obligation and, of course, God's will for us to provide those kinds of things for a generation that's going to reach their generation.
Yeah. For us, being new missionaries, just started itinerating, there couldn't have been more of a confirmation for me personally than to know that there were Argentines already here in the city. Yeah. At that point, it had been only 2 weeks from that point.
Yeah.
There were people already asking for people to come do what we were going to do.
That's right.
And it was the beginning of our itineration. We were really kind of questioning, is this really what we're supposed to be doing? And for me, there couldn't have been a clearer response from God.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because now here today, his church is here. They're working this week. They're doing construction. We just had lunch with another missionary as well, and they're working on the building in the background. But for me, it's so neat to have them here, to know that we shared that before itinerating. We shared that while we were there itinerating, and now here we are 2 years later on the field, meeting the people that God's bringing together to do this ministry, and to just see how we've been connected this whole way. It's such a confirmation to us and such a blessing to be here with them.
The other thing too is that being here now 2 years later and spending a little time getting a better feel of what's going on here in Buenos Aires among the churches, and particularly the college, you see that that the opportunities for you particularly and your wife in this ministry, it's wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crying for it. There's nobody like you here with the ability to do what God's called you to do. So I mean, it's like the sky's the limit for you in your ministry specifically. And that has become more and more clear, especially in this trip this time here to Buenos Aires
Yeah.
and have the chance to sit down and talk about that, because
Yeah.
it's definitely the case.
Yeah, it's just, right now we're still in the beginning stages. We're meeting the right people, we're doing the right things, and it's really cool to see how God's bringing us together with people who are ready to do this.
Right.
People that we didn't even know existed. Now
Right.
we're meeting people that already have training, that they're not even looking for training, they're looking for just support to bring them together.
Exactly right.
And that's what God's doing, and I know soon we'll be having a program here at the school, but also throughout the different parts of the country. And we couldn't do it without your support from churches like Bethel Temple in Canton and all the other churches that support us. We thank you for your support, because we know that God's brought us here for this time and for this purpose, and exciting just to see how He's putting it all together, and then
Yeah.
hooking us up with people like
Yeah.
Pastor Terry and their churches
Absolutely.
that come through.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're on it. Praise God.
Thanks for your support. God bless you.